Coding jobs did not die, but a certain kind of coding job absolutely got put on notice. The job where someone hands you a ticket, you turn requirements into syntax, you wait for review, and you call that the whole craft. That job is shrinking. Not because code stopped mattering, because code became easier to produce. And when production gets cheaper, the market stops paying a premium for production alone. This is educational content. It is not career, legal, or financial advice. Here is the uncomfortable part. For years, a lot of software careers were protected by friction. You had to know the framework, you had to remember the syntax, you had to search the docs, you had to wire the boring pieces together. That friction created a moat. AI did not remove every moat, it removed a lot of the shallow ones. Now a founder can ask for a dashboard and get a rough version in minutes. A product manager can prototype a workflow before engineering even sees it. A senior developer can generate boilerplate tests, migrations, and refactors faster than a junior can finish the setup. That does not mean engineers are useless. It means the center of gravity moved. The valuable question is no longer, can you type the code? The valuable question is, do you know what the code should do, how it should fail, how it connects to the business, and how to make it survive contact with real users? That is why the online debate feels so confusing. One person says developers are finished. Another person says nothing has changed. Both are missing the split. The task changed before the title changed. Companies still need people who can build and maintain software. They need them badly, but they need fewer people whose only contribution is converting a well-written ticket into a pull request. And they need more people who can define the ticket, challenge the ticket, test the ticket, and notice when the ticket should not exist. That is not a small difference. That is the career shift. The most exposed developer is not the beginner. The most exposed developer is the person who only translates instructions. Give me a button, add this field, create this endpoint, move this data from here to there. If the work is clearly described, low risk, and isolated, AI eats a huge part of the labor. That is the brutal part. But here's the part people miss. Most valuable software work is not clearly described. It is messy. The stakeholder wants one thing, says another thing, and forgets the constraint that breaks the whole plan. The data is dirty. The old service has a weird edge case from 2019. The customer does not care about your elegant abstraction. They care that the thing works on Tuesday morning when money is moving through it. AI is good at producing plausible code. It is not automatically good at owning consequences. That is where the job changed. The developer who wins now is not the person who writes the most lines. It is the person who can inspect a system and say, this is where it will break. This query will melt under load. This permission model is too loose. This prompt looks clever, but the failure mode is dangerous. This integration works in the happy path, but billing will fail when the retry hits twice. That kind of judgment is getting more valuable. Because AI increases the amount of code in circulation, more prototypes, more half-working features, more automation stitched into places it probably should not be, more people shipping before they understand the system. So the bottleneck moves. It moves from generating code to validating code, from writing the first draft to making the 10th draft trustworthy, from knowing syntax to knowing behavior. That is why debugging is becoming status. Not glamorous, not loud, but extremely expensive when nobody can do it. Think about what happens inside a company when AI coding becomes normal. The number of ideas goes up, the number of prototypes goes up, the number of internal tools goes up, the number of scripts, agents, dashboards, and glue code workflows goes up. At first, that feels like productivity. Then the bill arrives. Who owns the broken automation? Who checks if the data is leaking? Who knows why the report changed? Who notices that the AI-generated test only tested the thing the AI already assumed? That is the hidden job market. Not just writing more code, cleaning up the consequences of more code. The better the tools get, the more valuable system judgment becomes. This is also why junior developers feel pressure. The old path was simple. Learn syntax, build small projects, get hired to handle basic tickets, grow through repetition. AI compresses the repetition. That does not mean juniors cannot break in. It means the proof has to change. A portfolio of toy apps is weaker than it used to be. A portfolio of working systems is stronger than ever. Show the bug you found, show the trade-off you made, show the test that caught the mistake, show the database decision, show the before and after. Show that you can use AI without becoming helpless when it is wrong, because the new entry-level signal is not, I can make the thing appear. The new signal is, I can make the thing reliable. There's a second signal too. Can you learn with AI without letting AI do all the learning? Because this is the trap. If you ask the model for every answer, you can move fast for a week and stay stuck for a year. You get the dopamine of progress without the muscle of understanding. So use AI like a sparring partner. Ask it to explain the code, then close the chat and explain it back in your own words. Ask it for a solution, then break the solution on purpose, ask it for tests, then add the ugly case it missed. That is how you turn the tool into leverage instead of a crutch. The best developers are moving closer to the problem, not farther away. They understand users, they understand cost, they understand latency, they understand how one small feature can create 10 support tickets. They can sit in a product meeting and hear the hidden engineering risk. They can sit in an engineering meeting and hear the hidden customer problem. That is product taste, and product taste is technical now, because AI can help build many versions of the wrong thing fast, very fast. The person who knows which version should exist has leverage. The person who can connect the tool, the customer, the data, the workflow, and the business outcome has leverage. That is not dead coding. That is coding with more responsibility attached. And this matters for senior developers too, because seniority used to hide behind complexity. Some people looked valuable because they knew where the bodies were buried in a legacy system. That still matters, but it is not enough. The new senior developer is not just the person who remembers the old architecture. It is the person who can redesign the work around better tools. They can say, this part should be automated, this part should stay human, this part needs review, this part is too risky to hand to an agent. That is leadership, not job title leadership. Actual technical leadership. So what do you do with this? First, stop measuring your value by lines of code. Measure it by working outcomes. Second, use AI aggressively, but verify everything. Read the code, run the tests, check the logs, understand the failure mode. Third, build one real system instead of 10 tiny demos. Authentication, database, payments or scheduling, background jobs, monitoring, deployment, something that forces you to deal with reality. Here is a simple standard. If your project only works when you are sitting next to it, it is not finished. If it has no logs, it is not finished. If it has no error path, it is not finished. If you cannot explain what happens when the API fails, it is not finished. If you cannot explain what data you store and why, it is not finished. This is the part that makes you different from someone who only prompted a demo into existence. Fourth, learn to explain technical trade-offs in plain English. That skill is going to separate operators from passengers. And fifth, become the person who can take a vague problem and turn it into a reliable workflow. That is the job now. Coding jobs did not die. They moved up the stack. Away from typing, toward judgment. Away from isolated tickets, toward systems. Away from looking busy, toward owning what ships. If you are learning to code right now, do not panic, but do not hide in syntax either. Learn to build things that survive. Subscribe for more practical AI strategy, and I will see you in the next one.